Let us discuss part 2 of prompt engineering. In part 2 of prompt engineering, we initially start with prompt engineering for multi-model large language models. Then we can discuss how to avoid hallucination using prompt engineering. Then we can see the comparison between automated prompt engineering versus manual prompt engineering. Finally, we can see the categories of the prompts and how they are aligned with the different tasks. So, in multi-modal large language models, the prompts consist of text queries, images, and thought graph. These three data is used in the prompting. There will be a cross attention gated fusion layer that will align dynamically the text encoder with the patches of the images along with the thought graph nodes to understand the complex prompt into a graph of thoughts. Then using this process, the large language model would able to produce a coherent and rational output for a given prompt. So this achieves a performance by 87.59 on accuracy for a science question answering test set, outperforming strong baseline by incorporating spatial and contextual graphs. Please subscribe, like, comment for more technical videos. Let us discuss the prompt engineering process to reduce the hallucination in large language models. The first and foremost process is called retrieval augmented generation. In this process, you will be asked a prompt for a pre trained large language model. Sometimes this pre trained large language may not have the up to date information on your prompt, or your prompt might be relevant to a specific domain data. So, in these situations, you do not need to directly ask a prompt to the pre-trained large language model. You will be first to retrieve the relevant context information from the up-to-date database that contains the domain data, and the relevant context would be passed along with your prompt to this pre-trained large language model. Then the pre-trained large language model would produce the relevant output. So this can be further improved using the chain of verification process. In this chain of verification process, it involves four steps. The first step, you ask a prompt to a large language model, it produces a baseline response, and you will have a plan of verification which consists of independent questions and answers, and you will verify these independent questions and answers on a baseline output and make sure that it has answered all that independent questions. If some of the questions are not answered correctly, you can revise or reiterate your baseline response on only those wrongly answered questions, and you can revise that output and you can provide that one. This is called chain of verification. There is another process also called chain of note. In this process, you will be given a document as a context to your prompt. Sometimes the document might be noisy. Whatever the prompt you have given would not be having the relevant information from the document. Then because of the safety checks, the prompt response would be unknown. In order to avoid these unknown responses, you would be processed this document and fetch the relevant information for the given prompt, and the relevant information would able to answer for that prompt. That would be called chain of note process. There is also a mechanism to check the factual content in the form of some knowledge graph that would be also be used to reduce the hallucination using these prompting techniques. Let us discuss the prompt engineering used in the code and logic for high precision. So, in this process, you will have the three stages. First is a scratch pad where the model will store the intermediate tokens in the form of cognitive buffer. So, this will be used for the program of thoughts in which it disentangles or separates the computations from reasoning type of tasks, and the LLM writes the executable Python code to solve maths or the logic related tasks, whereas the chain of code process is used to solve the reasoning related tasks in the form of a flexible pseudocode. Once you design a flexible pseudocode, an internal LM later is used to define the behavior of this pseudocode and simulates the execution. The prompt quality is a crucial in order to get a high performance output from LLM for a specific task. There is a mega shift on evaluating your prompts. One is human evaluation, another is automatic evaluation by LLM. So in human evaluation, there is a laborious manual handcrafting of the prompts, which is subject to the cognition of the human, and also it is a suboptimal solution. Whereas if you use the automatic prompt engineering process, it has a large language model optimizer, and it will be taken the instructions as programs, and there is a pool of candidate prompts. Among the pool of candidate prompts, using the LLM optimizer, it will select the best candidate that will give the high score on the optimization process. This is called automatic prompt engineering, APE. Let us dive deep into automation process in the prompt engineering. It has three phases: generation phase, evaluation phase, and optimization phase. In generation phase, the LLM would identify the intent of the prompt and generate a diverse independent instructions, which is called candidate instructions. Once you have a candidate instruction, the evaluator would able to generate the output for each candidate instruction, and there is a score associated for each generated output in the form of accuracy on log likely probability. This is performed on a zero shot environment. And the third phase, which is called optimization phase, that will be selecting the highest scoring candidate among the pool of candidates using a reinforcement learning without human in the loop. This is called automatic prompt engineering process. Let us compare the prompt evaluation procedures: manual evaluation versus automated evaluation. In terms of workflow, manual evaluation requires trial and error and handcrafted iterations, whereas automated prompt engineering requires algorithmic search and reinforcement learning. The manual engineering is low in scalability and requires human expert annotator per specific task, whereas in automated prompt engineering evaluation, which is infinite, adapts to the mathematically on the fly to the new context. In terms of the bias, the manual engineering is biased towards the human cognition phrases, or there are cognitive blind spots, whereas in automated prompt evaluation process, it is empirically optimized for a model specific architecture. In terms of the benchmark comparison between manual prompt evaluation versus automated prompt evaluation, the automated prompt evaluation outperformed the manual evaluation process. Some of the tasks are better, some of the tasks are incomparable with the human annotated prompt quality. Let us finally conclude our prompt engineering process using the strategy matrix. In this strategy matrix, you can select the right cognitive tool for the right process. For example, if you want to reduce the hallucination, you can use the retrieval augment generation or chain of verification or chain of node process. If you want to solve a complex math or logic problem, you can use the program of thoughts on structured chain of thoughts or chain of code process. If you want to use the long context, then you can use the system to attention thread of thought, which we haven't discussed in this video. We will be discussing in the couple of next upcoming videos. And if you want to automate your prompt discovery, you can use the automatic prompt engineering or optimization by prompting itself. So these are the various types of prompt engineering process at high level. With this, we will conclude our talk. Please subscribe, like, and comment for more technical videos.